The rain poured down like shards of glass, sharp and cold against Emily Carter's trembling skin. Once a confident and unstoppable CEO, she now sat helpless on the wet pavement beside her sleek black car, her ankle twisted and pain shooting up her leg like fire. The city lights blurred through her tears as she whispered, "Please, don't hurt me. I can't walk." Her voice was barely audible, trembling with fear and exhaustion. She had tried to be strong all her life, leading a company, facing ruthless competitors, proving she didn't need anyone. But tonight, under the dim street lamp and the roar of thunder, she realized how fragile strength could be when loneliness wrapped around you like a chain. Her phone had slipped from her grasp during the fall, shattered on the ground, leaving her stranded and soaked. The echo of hurried footsteps in the distance made her heart race, fear of the unknown, fear of being seen weak. Then, a shadow approached. A tall figure carrying a small, yellow raincoat-clad child stopped near her. "Dad, she's hurt," the little girl said softly, her innocent eyes filled with concern. The man crouched down, his gentle tone cutting through the storm. "Hey, it's okay. I'm not here to hurt you. Let me help." Emily wanted to protest, but the exhaustion in her limbs silenced her. For the first time in years, she let someone take her hand, and as he lifted her carefully, something inside her heart began to thaw. The man introduced himself as Daniel, a single father who worked late shifts at a nearby diner. His daughter, Lily, clung to his arm, her big blue eyes filled with both curiosity and worry. Daniel's clothes were soaked, his shoes caked with mud, yet his kindness shone through the chaos of the storm. He helped Emily to a nearby bench under an awning, his voice calm and reassuring. "It's all right, you're safe now," he said as he wrapped his jacket around her trembling shoulders. Emily stared at him, confused by the selflessness of a stranger. No one had helped her without expecting something in return, not in her world of contracts, power suits, and boardroom battles. She tried to thank him, but her voice broke. Lily, noticing her pain, handed her a small pink bandage from her backpack, the kind with cartoon hearts on it. "This always helps me when I get hurt," she said softly. Emily smiled weakly, touched by the gesture. In that fragile moment, she realized how long it had been since anyone showed her pure, uncalculated kindness. Daniel called for a cab, staying beside her until it arrived. When she offered him money, he shook his head firmly. "You don't owe me anything. Just, get home safe." His sincerity caught her off guard. As the cab drove away, Emily glanced through the rain-streaked window, watching the man and his little girl fade into the night, unaware that this brief encounter was about to change all their lives forever. Days passed, but the memory of Daniel and little Lily lingered in Emily's heart like a warm echo in the cold corridors of her high-rise office. She couldn't focus on meetings or numbers, her mind kept replaying the kindness in his eyes, the gentleness in his voice. For someone who once believed that success meant standing alone, that rainy night had shaken her to her core. One afternoon, she made a decision: she had to find him. After all, people like Daniel didn't just appear and vanish. With the help of her driver, she retraced her steps to that street, searching every nearby shop. Eventually, at a small diner tucked between two worn-down buildings, she spotted him through the fogged-up window, wearing the same tired smile as he served coffee to customers. Lily sat quietly in a corner booth, coloring on scraps of napkins. Emily watched for a moment before entering, feeling strangely nervous. When Daniel saw her, surprise flickered across his face, followed by concern. "Are you all right? Is your leg okay?" he asked. Emily nodded, her throat tightening. "Because of you, yes." As they talked, she learned that Daniel had lost his wife 2 years ago in an accident, and since then, he had been raising Lily alone while working double shifts to make ends meet. Emily's chest tightened. The man who had so little had given her more compassion than anyone in her privileged world ever had. When she left that diner, she knew, she couldn't walk away this time. That night, Emily couldn't sleep. The image of Daniel wiping tables late into the night while Lily dozed in a booth haunted her. She kept asking herself why someone so kind should have to struggle so much. The next morning, she arrived at her office with a determination her employees hadn't seen before, not for profit or prestige, but for purpose. Using her resources, she discreetly contacted the diner's owner, offering to invest in the business on one condition: Daniel would be promoted to manager with full benefits and weekends off to spend with his daughter. The owner, stunned by the generosity, agreed without hesitation. A few days later, Daniel was called into the office, confused when he was handed the letter. "You've been doing an incredible job," the owner told him. "It's time someone recognized that." That evening, when Emily walked into the diner as usual, Daniel's eyes were wet. "I don't know how to thank you," he said quietly, suspecting she had something to do with it. She smiled softly. "You already did, the night you stopped to help me." Lily ran up to hug her, whispering, "Daddy says you're our angel." Emily knelt to her level, her voice trembling. "No, sweetheart, your dad is the angel. I just followed his example." For the first time in years, Emily felt what true success meant, not climbing higher, but lifting others along the way. Weeks turned into months, and Emily became a quiet part of Daniel and Lily's lives. Every Friday evening, she visited the diner, not as a CEO, but as a friend. They'd share meals, laughter, and stories that filled the once lonely spaces in all their hearts. Lily adored her, often calling her Miss Emily Sunshine, a nickname that made Daniel smile every time. One cold winter evening, the diner lost power during a storm. Instead of closing, Daniel lit candles on every table, turning the place into a warm glow of flickering light. Emily arrived, her cheeks pink from the wind, and Lily ran to greet her with a handmade card that read, "Thank you for giving us light." Inside was a small drawing, 3 people holding hands under a glowing heart. Emily's eyes welled up as she looked at it, realizing she wasn't just a visitor in their story anymore, she was part of it. Daniel placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "You know," he said quietly, "I used to think I had to face everything alone. But maybe, we were all just waiting to find the right people." In that moment, surrounded by warmth, laughter, and love, Emily felt something she hadn't felt in years: belonging. The storm outside raged on, but inside that tiny diner, 3 hearts had found shelter in each other. Spring arrived softly, bringing sunshine through the diner windows where 3 familiar souls now gathered every weekend. Emily's ankle had long healed, but something far deeper within her had been mended too, the part that once believed love and kindness were weaknesses. One morning, she surprised Daniel and Lily with a new sign outside the diner. In elegant gold letters, it read, "Lily's Light Cafe, where kindness begins." Daniel stood frozen, speechless, while Lily squealed with joy. "You named it after me," she said, hugging Emily tightly. "No, sweetheart," Emily replied, tears glistening in her eyes. "I named it after what you and your dad showed me, the light that never fades, even in the darkest nights." The cafe soon became a symbol of hope in the neighborhood, a place where no one left hungry, not in stomach, and not in heart. Emily often sat by the window, watching Daniel laugh as he worked, feeling more alive than she ever had in boardrooms or luxury hotels. Sometimes, when new customers came in, they'd ask about the name, and Emily would simply smile and say, "Because once, when I couldn't walk, someone chose to stop and help me stand again." And every time she said it, Daniel would look over, their eyes meeting, no words needed. In a world that often celebrates wealth and power, their story was a quiet reminder: the richest hearts belong to those who choose compassion over comfort, and love over fear. Red Heart.